Well, it's that time of year again, the season for baking all sorts of desserts for the holiday festivities. And one woman's mouth-watering treats are now popping up all over Metro Atlanta. Jane Grover joins us right now, and Jane's motto is, you can have your cake and eat it too, but she adds it's even nicer when that cake is homemade, right?
Yes.
Welcome, Jane. Thank you so much for coming and bringing all of these amazing desserts. Forget the diet. It's out the window.
Right.
Especially during the holidays. So what are we going to make here?
So today I'll show you how to make the pumpkin praline pie that I offer. So we'll get started with the crust. So what you'll first want to do is blind bake a crust.
Okay.
You can either have your favorite recipe for crust if you have one. There's thousands of recipes online to find a crust, or you can even use a store-bought crust.
I was going to say,
there's no shame
really
in
matter?
That. No, I don't judge.
All right.
So what we'll do is we'll just fit it into a pie tin, crimp the edges, and blind baking means you'll cover it with a layer of foil or parchment paper and fill it with either baking beans or just dried beans. You'll pop it in the oven, bake it for about 20 minutes with the filling of the beans in there.
Okay.
Then you'll remove that filling and the foil or parchment, and you'll continue baking it until it's light golden brown and it doesn't have any more wetness on the top.
That looks beautiful, just like that.
Right. So then while that is baking, we'll move on to the filling.
Okay.
And we'll start with canned pumpkin. To that, you'll add some dark brown sugar. So then once you add the brown sugar, add your seasonings, which is the mix of cinnamon, ginger, allspice, cloves, and a touch of salt.
Ooh.
Don't be tempted to buy the pumpkin pie filling that's already pre-mixed and made in a can. This is much better.
Okay.
That way you can control the sugar and the seasonings yourself. Then you'll mix this all together.
And I'm noticing that you're mixing the wet and dry ingredients together too.
Yes. So
not a problem?
No, not a problem. Not a problem. So what you'll do at this point is you'll actually take this filling and you'll pop it onto the stovetop, and you'll cook it on medium high for about 5 minutes or so till it's thickened and starts to sputter in the pan. And that just helps intensify the spices and also
brings
drives
it all out.
Yes, and it drives off a little bit of the moisture, so you can have a nice firm set filling. But for time's sake, we're just going to go ahead and mix it in the bowl right here. Then we'll add our evaporated milk.
Okay.
As well as our vanilla, and then we'll add in our eggs, and that brings out the custard, consistency of the pie. And then you'll get that all mixed in.
Nice. This comes so easy to you.
I've made a lot of them.
Have you been baking like all your life?
As a child, I was more interested in just playing outside than really watching my mom and learning from her, since she baked and she cooked a lot.
Yes.
And so, but it wasn't until later in life that I really developed more of a passion for it. And I thought, friends and family seem to enjoy what I make, so why not try to maybe make a business out of it?
Oh, of course.
That's how I started.
For you. Yeah. Very smart. Yeah. And it runs in the family too, because I was reading on your website, your grandfather is a baker.
He was a pastry chef.
He's a pastry chef?
Yes, so both my parents are from Switzerland, actually.
Wonderful.
And so that was my mom's father.
So it was all in the DNA.
It's all, it's in the genes, I guess. And then we'll just pour this into your pre-baked pie shell. Okay. And the pie shell can actually be made 1 to 2 days in advance, even if you're short on time for that particular day. Just make sure that you heat up the pie shell. That way it's warm when the warm filling goes in as well. Okay. So you'll pop this in the oven for about 30 minutes or so, and then while that's baking, we'll move to the praline topping.
All right, let's do that.
So what we have here is we have dark brown sugar. We have finely chopped pecans.
Do you have to chop them yourself, or can you just go and get the store-bought already chopped?
I actually do buy pre-chopped pecans, but I actually chop them even more, just to get a more finer crumb on the topping. Then you're going to add a mix of dark corn syrup and vanilla. And that's actually going to mix together. And you're going to mix it until the consistency is like wet sand.
Oh, okay. Jane, this looks so easy, but I know that if I probably try this at home, it would never turn out looking like this.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
But it's good to know that you actually cater, and you'll send out to people who, can actually pawn it off as their own.
Exactly. Just throw some flour in your face and it looks like you made it yourself.
Working all morning long.
Right. So then once that's done and the time has passed on this will bake up puffy, crack a little bit on the side. You'll take it out of the oven, you'll sprinkle this topping evenly over the top, and you'll pop it back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so, until you can really smell the pecans toasting and the edges of the brown sugar will start to bubble.
And then
this is what you have.
Ta-da!
Yes.
This looks beautiful.
It really does look good. Sharon says it tasted as good as it looked too. For today's recipe and more on Jane Grover and Paya Bake Shop, use the Fox 5 Atlanta app or go to our website.